Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour, US President Donald Trump announces plan for new US Navy battleships, calls them fastest and most powerful. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says that negotiations conducted with the United States and European nations are very close to a real result. US calls upon Sudan to accept peace plan during UN Security Council meeting. Sudan's Prime Minister Kamil Idris thanks Trump and Rubio for helping to advance the peace process. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visits Sri Lanka to meet top leadership in Colombo today. And Indian women's cricket team to play their second T20 international with Sri Lanka today. US President Donald Trump has announced a bold plan for the US Navy to build a new large warship that he's calling a battleship as part of larger vision to create a golden fleet. Trump made the announcement at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. He said that the ship will be longer and larger than the Second World War era and will be armed with hypersonic missiles, rail guns and high-powered lasers, all technologies that are still being developed by their Navy.
Ships are the largest, sturdiest, and most heavily armed vessel built specifically for naval combat. While America has built many new warships over the years, they've tended to be smaller and much smaller, and not conducive to where we are and where we're going, and peace through strength. These cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. They will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines. We have submarines which will have, in many ways, even more lethality, and we have many of them under construction.
Further, President Trump said that United States could keep or sell the oil it had seized off the coast of Venezuela in recent weeks, adding that Washington would also keep the seized ships.
Maybe we'll sell it, maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
And DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us on this story. Akshay, how dangerous could these US Navy battleships prove in the region?
Well, as far as the battleships are concerned, Tanvi, obviously we are seeing that China is also, enhancing its own, naval strength vis-a-vis the United States. As far as the Chinese deployment in the south, in the Indo-Pacific region, as well as in the Pacific Ocean is concerned, that is of a major concern to the US. China is developing more and more submarines. Naval factories can churn out at a very rapid pace new destroyers, frigates, and a large amount of naval power as far as Chinese capabilities are concerned, and their scaling up are concerned. So what US sees right now as its a major competitor is China in terms of naval warfare. And it's but natural that there would be a time when US will start to realize that the kind of strategic advantage it had with the kind of aircraft carriers it had, it is going down quite rapidly, and that's perhaps the reason why Donald Trump has announced this Golden Fleet, and they are going to be quite lethal as far as the technology is concerned, because US still remains one of the most important and one of the most powerful country when it comes to naval firepower, with its over 10 nuclear powered aircraft carriers, large fleet of submarines, large fleet of fighter jets that can be operated from these aircraft carrier, including the F-35 variant of fifth generation fighters. So it is still a worthy naval power when it comes to the top position is concerned, but it is going to lose its position fast if it doesn't act soon.
Okay, now Donald Trump has vehemently, addressed the media and said that they will keep the seized tankers and also sell that oil. So can this move be challenged in international courts?
Well, if you're talking about the second issue, that is the seizing of the Venezuelan tankers here, then obviously, what we are getting to know is that US is trying to seize a third tanker from Venezuela, and that can definitely be challenged in the international court. However, the biggest problem is that whether the other countries, the allies of Venezuela, are going to voice their opinion soon, because what we are hearing is that one of the tankers that has been tracked is also of a Chinese company that was getting oil from Venezuela. Now, Trump administration is accusing Venezuela of using these oil money into drug business, but that is just an accusation, and you cannot act on behalf of accusation. That goes clear in international law. So definitely that can be challenged in the international courts as far as the US action is concerned, which is getting more and more aggressive as far as the region is concerned.
All right, thank you very much, Akshay Dongre, for reporting on this story. A US Navy nuclear-powered submarine entered a South Korean for crew rest and the loading of supplies. South Korea's Navy said that USS Greenland's visit will be utilized as a chance to promote exchange and cooperation between the US and South Korean naval forces and further strengthen their combined defense posture. It is the first time in about 10 months that a US nuclear-powered attack submarine has entered Busan port since the USS Alexandria in February. US President Donald Trump has said that the United States needs Greenland for national security, citing growing Russian and Chinese presence in the Arctic region. Trump implied Greenland is needed for national protection and economic development, not for minerals, as he appoints Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry as his special envoy to Greenland. The move draws criticism from Denmark and Greenland over Washington's growing interest in the mineral-rich Arctic island.
We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money. They have no military protection. They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. So we'll have to work it all out. But he felt very strongly we need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
Mexico has released water from the El Cuchillo Dam as part of its commitments under a long-standing water-sharing agreement with the United States. The El Cuchillo Dam in Nuevo Leon, northern Mexico, released water to cover part of Mexico's water debt to the U.S. under the 1944 treaty. Under the pact, the U.S. shares Colorado River water, while Mexico supplies water from Rio Grande. Mexico has fallen behind on its obligation, accumulating a deficit of over 1 billion cubic meters over the past 5 years, drawing sharp criticism from Trump. A Mexican medical transport plane carrying 8 people crashed into the waters of Texas coast on Monday, killing at least 3. The aircraft was on a medical mission with the Michaud and Moe Foundation, a non-profit that supports pediatric burn victims. It had departed Mexico and was approving Galveston when it went down near Scholes International Airport. Search and rescue teams, including divers, are working in dense fog to locate survivors and recover the wreckage. Moving on to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is expecting a report from his negotiating team on a proposed peace plan following talks with the United States. The discussions held in Miami with representatives of US President Donald Trump focused on bilateral security guarantees and an economic recovery plan for Ukraine. Zelenskyy said substantial work has been done on a 20-point peace plan, but stressed that any progress depends on Russia showing real willingness to end the conflict.
Our negotiation team is already returning after meetings in America with representatives of President Trump. I expect a full report on the prepared documents. A lot has been worked on, primarily documents on security guarantees as well as the 20 points of the main document, the basic framework discussed by the Ukrainian and American delegations.
Meanwhile, US intelligence continues to warn that Russian President Vladimir Putin has not abandoned his broader territorial ambitions in Ukraine. Moving on, in Albania's capital, Tirana, protesters held firebombs at the government building housing Prime Minister Edi Rama's office on Monday. They are demanding the government's resignation after prosecutors indicted Deputy Prime Minister Belinda Baluku on corruption charges. Baluku, who also oversees the Ministry of Infrastructure, manages projects worth hundreds of millions of euros. The Special Prosecution Office has asked Parliament to lift her immunity and allow her arrest. Rama's party holds a majority, but it's unclear when lawmakers will vote. Police in riot gear guarded the building during the unrest but did not move against the demonstrators. A car drove into a crowd during an annual light parade in Nunspeet, the Netherlands, on Monday in a suspected accident that left at least 9 injured. 3 of them are in a serious condition. The driver, a 56-year-old woman from the village, sustained minor injuries and was detained by police. Emergency services, including several trauma helicopters, responded quickly to the scene to assist the injured. While as a result of the accident, the municipality of Elberg announced that the parade would be halted and organizers confirmed that it would not pass through Nunspeet. Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison has stepped in to personally guarantee $40.4 billion in Paramount Skydance's latest effort to pry Warner Brothers Discovery away from selling its prized Hollywood assets to streaming giant Netflix. The guarantee, disclosed in a filing, seeks to allay the Warner Brothers board's doubts about Paramount's financing and the lack of full Ellison family backing, which had pushed it towards competing cash and stock offer from Netflix. Warner Brothers shares rose nearly 4%, while Paramount added about 3%. Paramount said that the amended terms do not change the $30 per share all-cash offer, even as the fight for Hollywood's sought-after assets heats up, with control of Warner Brothers' vast library offering a decisive edge in the streaming wars. As part of the revised terms, Ellison also agreed not to revoke the family trust or transfer its assets during the pendency of the transaction, the filing showed. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. Gunmen kidnapped 28 people in central Nigeria's Bashar district. Security situation in Bangladesh continues to deteriorate. NCP leader shot dead in broad daylight in Khulna. And UK street artist Banksy unveils his latest mural in London.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
फुल वर्कआउट हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Watching DD India Newshour, I am Tanvi Taneja. In a bid to secure peace in war-torn Sudan, United States has urged Sudan to accept peace plan during the UN Security Council meeting. US representatives to the United Nations said that the responsibility to end the civil war in Sudan lies with the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces. Sudan's civil war between the RSF and the Sudanese armed forces started in April 2023 and has displaced millions and killed tens of thousands of people. During a speech to the United Nations Security Council on Monday, the ambassador urged both belligerents to accept this plan without preconditions immediately.
Let me be clear. The onus is on the Sudanese armed forces and the rapid support forces to end this horrifying conflict now. Under President Trump's leadership and at his direct instruction, Secretary Rubio and Senior Advisor Boulos have offered a way forward via a humanitarian truce. We urge both belligerents to accept this plan without preconditions immediately. We also call on all parties to honor their humanitarian commitments, including refraining from attacking civilians and allowing full, safe, and unhindered humanitarian access throughout the country.
Sudanese Prime Minister Kamil Idris thanked US President, meanwhile, and US Secretary of State for helping to advance the peace process in his country. Earlier, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio had said that Washington's immediate goal in Sudan is a cessation of hostilities going into the new year that allows humanitarian organizations to be able to deliver assistance. During the UNSC meeting, Idris stressed on the conflict's trajectory, humanitarian needs and regional implications.
The Government of Sudan Peace Initiative is born not from illusion, but from necessity. Not from victory, but from responsibility. It is a deliberate choice to replace chaos with order, violence with law, and despair with hope.
In central Nigeria, gunmen have kidnapped 28 people, including women and children, in Zark village of Bashar district. The victims were traveling to a religious gathering when their vehicle was ambushed. Police have launched an investigation. The attack comes as a final group of 130 kidnapped Nigerian school children freed by the government on Sunday. In one of the country's worst school kidnappings in recent years, ending a month-long ordeal that drew global concern. The United Nations warns of a surge in mass abductions, with worshippers also targeted in separate raids. The abduction caused outrage over worsening insecurity in northern Nigeria, where armed gangs frequently target schools for ransom. And the crisis has become a profit-driven industry, generating over $1.6 million in the past year. On to Asia now. Bangladesh remains caught in a vicious cycle of violence and protests again following the lynching of a minority member first and the killing of a student leader last week. Vandalism and arson at the offices of two major dailies also prompted journalists to hit the streets to vent their misgivings and seek justice. The Mohammad Yunus-led interim government is even being pilloried by former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for jeopardizing ties with India, presenting a fresh challenge to the interim government, which is set to hold general elections in February next year.
Protests by different sections of society on a daily basis, triggered by incidents of lynching and arson, are rocking Bangladesh. Over 100 journalists in Bangladesh's capital Dhaka rallied on Monday to protest vandalism and arson at two major dailies during violence that erupted after the death of student leader Sharif Osman Hadi. Crowds set fire to several buildings in the capital last week, including the offices of leading newspapers, Prothom Olo and the Daily Star. The Minority Unity Front also got together the same day in front of the National Press Club in Dhaka, accusing the Mohammed Yunus-led interim government of failing to stop violence, killings and persecution targeting religious and ethnic minorities. A coordinator of the front took up the issue of the lynching of minority garment worker Dipu Chandra Das last week on suspicion of blasphemy, charging the administration of indifference as authorities were still to contact his family members.
There was a man named Dipu Chandra Das. He was mainly a worker who lived in Mymensingh, and he was brutally killed by Tawhidi Janata in the name of mob justice, but he was innocent.
Bangladesh's Mohammed Yunus-led interim government also came in for some heavy flack by the nation's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She sharply criticized the Mohammed Yunus-led interim government for straining bilateral ties with New Delhi. She asserted that the current tensions are entirely Yunus's making, as his administration issues hostile statements against India, fails to protect religious minorities, and allows extremists to dictate foreign policy. Hasina highlighted India's decades-long role as Bangladesh's steadfast partner, emphasizing that deep fundamental ties will outlast any temporary government. She accused Yunus of emboldening extremists who attacked Indian missions, placing them in power, releasing terrorists and granting immunity to hooligans. Warning of multiplied lawlessness, minority persecution and eroded credibility under Yunus, Hasina expressed confidence that legitimate governance will restore the sensible 15-year partnership.
Unless the elections are inclusive, unless they're fully participatory, Awami League, Jatiya Party, all these must be allowed to take part in the elections, then you can say that whoever comes, any party may come, but that will be something that the people of Bangladesh will accept. What Sheikh Hasina is clearly saying is that the people of Bangladesh will not accept an election which is not participatory.
Bangladesh is set to hold general elections in February next year, but with repeated incidents of violence, protests and questions over the legitimacy of the exercise, holding polls in a free, fair and timely manner will remain a challenge in the strife-ridden country. Bureau Report, DD India.
A leader of the National Citizen Party, NCP, was shot by unidentified assailants in broad daylight in Khulna on Monday. Motaleb Shikder Khulna, divisional head of the NCP and central organizer of its labour wing, Jatiya Shramik Shakti, was attacked in Sonadanga area. According to witnesses, the attackers targeted his head before fleeing the scene. The police said that the motive behind the shooting remains unclear and the identities of the assailants have yet to be established. DD India's Naval Sangh Parmar joins us from Dhaka now. Naval Sangh, back-to-back killings and shootings in different parts of Bangladesh. This is a widening cycle of political violence in the country. Is the police under pressure in Bangladesh?
Well, in Bangladesh, after the 5th August 2024, when the Sheikh Hasina was ousted, then after there was a heavy assault on police force. And still now, police has not emerged of this kind of shock. And for the many months, there was many police station in Bangladesh was police personnel didn't report it there on their duty. So this is the kind of confidence level, and this is the issue with the police force. They don't have a grip, they don't have control on field, and they are not having enough backing from the administration and the government of the day. So police is they don't have a backing, they don't have a power to take a decision. Like one of the police officials said 2 days back that the police didn't took any action to avoid the violence or to avoid the casualty. So it was like a spectator. So that is the condition with the police, and that is the reason why the impunity, law and order situation here in Bangladesh is deteriorating. And army, at the same time, army is also deployed in Bangladesh after the 5th August in 2024, and they have a power to take decision to maintain law and order situation in Bangladesh, but the army is not taking any decision, or they are the silence of army and the becoming a spectator when the certain big events happen in Bangladesh. That is the questionable in Bangladesh.
Okay. Is the interim government led by Mohammad Yunus at all taking the weight of responsibility for these killings, which have come back to back now? And also, are there any demands of resignation of the Home Affairs Minister or people in Yunus's cabinet following this widening cycle of political violence?
There are on many occasions when some big law and order issues happen in Bangladesh, different sections of the political spectrum demanded the resignation of Home Advisor, and the people and the analyst says that he is the failed politician. And yesterday also the Devpriya Bhattacharya, famous economist in Bangladesh, has mentioned that this government lacked the confidence. People don't have a confidence in this government. They are failed to provide a good law and order situation in Bangladesh. Yesterday also the Inclab Manch won a launching of a movement to topple the Yunus-led interim government if justice is not ensured for the killing of its spokesperson Osman bin Hadi. And this kind of, and even they warn that if the perpetrator of the Hadi's murder are not arrested, then they will not allow to have election. So this kind of statement people, the political leader or activist are making, and this government, Yunus-led interim government, is in no way to take a bold decision, and they are not willing to take bold decision. There are some section of political spectrum who are supporting the interim government, and they have their own agenda. They want to push their own agenda, and that is of intimidation and the religious fanatical or fundamentalist views. And Yunus administration is becoming a silent spectator to give a leeway to this kind of section of the political spectrum.
Okay, Bangladesh Prime Minister, former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina sharply criticized the Mohammad Yunus-led interim government for straining bilateral ties with New Delhi yesterday in an email interview given to a news agency. What is the popular view in Bangladesh regarding Sheikh Hasina and her party, Awami League?
Awami League's party of Sheikh Hasina still command a good rapport among the people of Bangladesh. It is a big political party, and it has ruled this country for many years. And nowadays, there was a time in 2024 that people were fed up with the Sheikh Hasina government, and there was a huge anti-incumbency factor in Bangladesh, and that helps some of the perpetrator, or what we can say, the planner of the movement against the Sheikh Hasina. But nowadays, these people are they are realizing that they made a mistake. They made a mistake, and nowadays there is a day-by-day support for the previous regime. Sheikh Hasina is increasing, and they also feel that without the participation of Awami League, a major political party, it will not be a participatory election, and it will not be an inclusive election. So this kind of support now increasing among the people of Bangladesh for the Sheikh Hasina.
Okay, thank you very much, Naval Singh Parmar, reporting from Dhaka on the unrest in Bangladesh. All right, let's move on now. An Ecuadorian court on Monday sentenced 11 of 17 soldiers to more than 34 years in prison over the forced disappearance of 4 boys during security operations in Guayaquil 1 year ago. Prosecutors requested this penalty for 11 soldiers accused of carrying out the crime. 5 additional soldiers who cooperated with the investigators were sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, while a lieutenant colonel accused of involvement but not present on the patrol was acquitted. The children vanished during a military crackdown ordered by President Noboa after leaving home to play soccer. Autopsies later showed that they had been injured before their deaths. As per the allegations, soldiers stopped the children during a nighttime patrol, mistreated them, made them remove their clothes and left them abandoned in Tora. And next we take a look at other stories making news around the world. Elusive British street artist Banksy unveiled his latest work in central London amid speculation over an identical second work which has appeared elsewhere in the city. The black and white mural painted on the side of an old building in Bayswater shows two people, probably children, in winter hats and Wellington boots, lying down and looking up and pointing to the sky. The US Powerball jackpot has climbed to an estimated $1.6 billion ahead of Monday night's drawing, cementing its place among the largest lottery prizes in American history. The jackpot is the fourth largest in Powerball history and the fifth largest among US lottery jackpots. As weight loss drugs such as Ozempic are gaining popularity in the US, many popular restaurants in New York are adding bite-sized portions in their restaurant menus. This move is an initiative by the restaurant chains to cater to their diners with reduced appetites. Still to come on DD India Newshour. Indian Oil Corporation along with Indian Army opened bulk fuel storage in Ladakh to support winter stocking operations. New Delhi to host National Conclave on AI with the theme Enhancing Human Capital. And the nation marks National Farmers' Day today to mark the birth anniversary of Chaudhry Charan Singh.
Welcome to DD India, where a billion voices unite, connecting viewers to the stories that matter. India is not just another news channel. It's the international channel that puts the spotlight on the global south, bringing you stories from the heart of emerging economies, dynamic cultures, and transformative voices. As the international news channel of India's public broadcaster Prasar Bharati, DD India delivers high-quality content from every corner of the globe, focusing on the stories that shape our future. We don't just report news. We connect you to India's voice in the global narrative, from current affairs to culture, from economic growth to sustainable development, and the ever-evolving world order. DD India gives you a comprehensive view of the world around us. Stay connected, stay informed, and embrace the stories that shape our lives. DD India, India's voice to the world.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I am Tanvi Taneja. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Sri Lanka as a special envoy of the Prime Minister for meetings with the leadership in Colombo to follow up on relief and reconstruction efforts in the wake of Cyclone Ditwa. Dr. Jaishankar was received by Sri Lanka's Deputy Tourism Minister Rovan Ranasinghe on his arrival in Colombo on Monday evening. India has been among the main providers of humanitarian aid since the cyclone hit Sri Lanka on November 28th, causing widespread floods and deadly landslides. India launched Operation Sagar Bandhu on November 28th and delivered hundreds of tons of relief supplies and critical early recovery capabilities across Sri Lanka, including in areas rendered inaccessible by the cyclone. New Delhi dispatched relief materials by air and sea, rapidly deployed several specialized search and rescue units, medical and engineering equipment and Bailey Bridge systems, and set up a field hospital manned by the Indian Army. Within the first 3 days of Cyclone Ditwa, 53 tons of emergency relief were delivered by Indian Navy warships and heavy lift aircraft of the Indian Air Force. India's state-run energy giant, Indian Oil Corporation, together with the Indian Army, has inaugurated a bulk petroleum storage facility in Ladakh. The installation is designed for extreme high-altitude terrain and aims to strengthen energy security in the region. It will support India's advanced winter stocking operations and significantly boost operational readiness in forward areas. Vice President of India, C.P. Radhakrishnan, will be taking part in the National Conclave on AI in New Delhi on Tuesday, where he would share insights on AI-driven learning, skill transformation and innovation in education. The theme of the conclave is Enhancing Human Capital, and it explores AI's transformation of the educational landscape, workforce readiness and innovation ecosystem. India marks National Farmers' Day on December 23rd to remember Chaudhary Charan Singh on his birth anniversary. This year's theme focuses on farmer-producer organizations, FPOs, and their role in building a Viksit Bharat by 2047. With record food grain production, a five-fold surge in agriculture budget, and schemes like PM Kisan Samman Nidhi benefits over 9 crore farmers. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay filed this report.
National Farmers' Day, also known as Kisan Divas, is celebrated annually on December 23 in India to recognize the vital contributions of farmers to the nation's economy and food security. This date commemorates the birth anniversary of Chaudhary Charan Singh, the 5th Prime Minister of India and a dedicated champion of farmers' rights and rural development. Officially instituted in 2001, the day honors his enduring legacy as one of the most prominent agrarian leaders in post-independence India. This year's theme, Viksit Bharat 2047, the role of FPOs in globalizing Indian agriculture, underscores the pivotal contribution of farmer-producer organizations in elevating Indian farming to global standards. FPOs empower small and marginal farmers through collective bargaining, enhanced access to advanced technology, quality inputs, institutional credit, and international markets. By strengthening supply chains, boosting agri-exports, and fostering sustainable, market-driven practices, FPOs are instrumental in realizing the vision of a developed India by 2047. The Government of India continues to prioritize farmer welfare and agricultural growth. The budget allocation for the Department of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare has surged nearly fivefold, from 27,663 crore rupees in 2013-14 to over 1.22 lakh crore rupees in recent years. Reflecting this support, India's food grain production has risen impressively from 265 million tons in 2013-14 to record levels in recent seasons, demonstrating enhanced productivity and resilience in the sector. The government has introduced several transformative initiatives to uplift farmers. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, PM Kisan, an income support scheme for cultivable landholding farmers providing Rs 6,000 per year in 3 installments. 21 installments have been paid to over 9 crore farmers. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Man Dhan Yojana, PMKMY, a voluntary pension scheme for farmers aged 18 to 40, offering 3,000 rupees monthly pension after age 60. Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana PMFBY restructured weather-based crop insurance scheme RWBCIS delivers affordable crop insurance covering over 4 crore farmers annually across most states and union territories. Modified Interest Subvention Scheme MIS offers concessional short-term loans up to 3 lakh rupees at 7% interest, benefiting over 7.75 crore Kisan credit card holders. Agricultural Infrastructure Fund AIF, a 1 lakh crore rupees financing facility for post-harvest infrastructure and community assets. Formation and promotion of 10,000 FPOs, a central scheme to boost farmers' bargaining power, reduce production costs, and increase incomes through aggregation and scale. National Beekeeping and Honey Mission NBHM promotes scientific beekeeping under Atmanirbhar Bharat, driving the sweet revolution, with India emerging as a leading global honey exporter. Namo Drone Didi equips 15,000 women's self-help groups with drones for rental services and fertilizer and pesticide application. National Mission on Natural Farming NMNF targets 15,000 clusters across 7.5 lakh hectares and 10,000 bio-input resource centers for sustainable practices. Pradhan Mantri Annadata Ai Sanrakshan Abhiyan PM Asha aims to ensure remunerative prices for farmers by strengthening the MSP system. The government's unwavering commitment to farmers' welfare stands out through visionary policies, substantial investments, and groundbreaking initiatives, from surging budget allocations and record food production to transformative schemes empowering millions. These efforts are propelling Indian agriculture towards global excellence, ensuring prosperity, security, and pride of every Annadata who feeds the nation. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav dismissed claims that the Aravali Hills in northern India are under threat, calling them misleading and baseless. Yadav reiterated the government's firm commitment to protecting the fragile ecosystem. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
Coming down heavily on what he termed a campaign of lies and misinformation, Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav rejected allegations of ecological dilution in the Aravalis. Referring to the Supreme Court ruling on the definition of the Aravali range, the minister clarified that there is no mining allowed in the NCR and no new mining leases will be granted.
कुछ लोगों ने भ्रम फैलाने की कोशिश करी, तरह तरह के झूठ और मिथ्या प्रचार किए जाने लगे। प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में विगत वर्षों में ग्रीन अरावली मूवमेंट को, ग्रीन अरावली के विषयों को आगे बढ़ाया गया है। यही कारण है कि 2014 में इस देश में जहां केवल 24 रामसर साइट्स होती थी, अब बढ़कर के 96 हो गई हैं।
Highlighting the scale of conservation, Yadav said the Aravali range is protected through 4 tiger reserves and 20 wildlife sanctuaries, stressing that the region remains safeguarded under existing environmental laws and Supreme Court guidelines.
अरावली का जो ऑलरेडी कोर एरिया है, चाहे वो हिल है चाहे ना हो, जो प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज हैं, क्योंकि अरावली के क्षेत्र में 4 टाइगर रिजर्व्स हैं, अरावली के क्षेत्र में 20 वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी हैं, अरावली के क्षेत्र में सरकार के द्वारा जहां पर पेड़ लगाने का कार्यक्रम किया गया है, चाहे ग्रीन इंडिया मिशन में हो चाहे कैंपा में हो, वहां पर फ्यूचर में इस निर्णय के बाद भी कोई माइनिंग नहीं है।
Clarifying the facts on mining, the minister stated that out of the total 1.43 lakh square kilometer Aravali area, only about 217 square kilometers is eligible for mining, and that too under strict scientific management plans approved by the court. Reiterating the government's resolve, Yadav said the Aravali Hills remain under robust protection through the Environment Ministry in coordination with state governments, ensuring conservation while balancing responsible development for future generations. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
On to weather updates now. Cold wave conditions tighten their grip across North India with plunging temperatures, dense fog and severe winter weather disrupting daily life in several states. India Meteorological Department said dense fog will persist over Delhi and NCR till Tuesday, disrupting daily life. Low visibility led to cancellation of around 14 flights at the IGI airport, while over 35 trains were delayed by more than 3 hours. The IMD warned of dense to very dense fog over Punjab till the 27th of this month. Several areas continue to reel under poor visibility, impacting road and rail movement. The IMD issued an orange alert for dense fog in Bihar as visibility dropped sharply in several districts, affecting transport and routine activities. Dense fog led to train delays at Gorakhpur railway station, with passengers facing inconvenience due to low visibility conditions. Ayodhya witnessed a cold wave accompanied by dense fog, reducing visibility and intensifying winter conditions in the holy city. A thick layer of fog covered Assam's Guwahati, especially in the Uzan Bazar area, lowering visibility and affecting early morning movement. Cold wave conditions along with dense fog gripped Rajasthan's Jaisalmer as temperatures dipped and visibility remained low across the city. And next we take a look at other stories making news in India. Snowfall in the upper reaches and light rain in Srinagar in India's north have brought much needed relief to Kashmir Valley after weeks of dry weather. The weather shift comes with the start of the Chile Kalan, the coldest 40-day winter period in Kashmir, raising hopes of heavier snowfall. Mandvi Beach in Kutch has come alive with an 11-day beach festival attracting tourists and locals alike. Sand art installations highlighting marine life, wildlife and local heritage have emerged as key attractions, alongside handicraft stalls and live music. The festival, running till December 31st, is expected to give a boost to tourism in the region. Adding a unique charm to Christmas celebrations, a giant Christmas tree made entirely of around 2,800 organic flowering plants has been set up at Chungatara in Mallapuram district of Kerala. Unlike conventional artificial decorations, the living tree was created by planting and nurturing saplings, promoting an eco-friendly celebration. The green installation has attracted large crowds and attention on social media for its sustainable approach to Christmas festivities. You're watching the India News Hour, still to come on the show. Danish drug maker Novo Nordisk wins US approval for a weight loss pill. And Spain ends 2025 atop FIFA rankings ahead of Argentina and France.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Thank you for staying with us on DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. Some business news now. Major Stock indices were higher at the start of a holiday-shortened week on Monday. The yen strengthened against the US dollar after Japanese officials warned against one-sided and sharp currency moves. Gold and silver jumped to record highs and oil prices also rose. Wall Street stocks were helped in part by a continued rebound in technology stocks, although the advance was broad. Almost all of the 11 S&P 500 sectors ended higher on the Wall Street. Nvidia was up 1.5% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.5%. One of the fastest trade deals India has sealed with a developed country. India and New Zealand on Monday announced the conclusion of a landmark free trade agreement. It is expected to come into effect by July or August next year, once both countries complete the required legal and ratification processes. A report on the highlights of the deal.
In a significant economic and strategic advancement for India's engagement in the Indo-Pacific region, India and New Zealand have successfully concluded a comprehensive, balanced and forward-looking free trade agreement. This milestone reflects the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and aligns seamlessly with India's ambitious goal of achieving Viksit Bharat by 2047. Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaged in a productive telephone conversation with New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, during which the two leaders jointly declared the successful conclusion of the India-New Zealand FTA. The agreement stands as one of India's swiftest FTAs with a developed nation. Prime Minister Modi commended the conclusion of the FTA in a record time of 9 months, emphasizing that the FTA will profoundly strengthen bilateral economic ties, expand market access, foster investment flows, enhance strategic collaboration, and create transformative opportunities for innovators, entrepreneurs, farmers, MSMEs, students, and youth across diverse sectors. At a subsequent press conference, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal highlighted the agreement's people-centric focus, noting New Zealand's commitment to facilitate $20 billion in foreign direct investment into India over the next 15 years.
This $20 billion, we must see in the context of the size of the New Zealand economy. So far, in the last 25 years, New Zealand has only invested $70 million. So they are committing to invest now 1,80,000 crores.
This investment will target key areas such as manufacturing, infrastructure, services, innovation and job creation, while transforming bilateral relations from friendly to formidable in trade and innovation.
This is the 7th free trade agreement. All of them with developed economies with significantly larger per capita incomes than India, demonstrating that we are expanding trade relations rapidly with countries who complement the Indian economy.
The India-New Zealand FTA establishes a high-quality economic partnership, marking a significant milestone in the bilateral ties of both nations. Upon entry into force, the agreement will ensure zero duty on 100% of India's exports, with tariff elimination across all tariff lines. The FTA creates new opportunities for India's services sector, spanning IT and ITES, finance, education, tourism, construction, and other areas. In addition, enhanced mobility provisions for skilled Indian professionals will enable Indian talent to access better global opportunities. It will benefit farmers, MSMEs, workers, artisans, women-led enterprises, and youth, while providing immense opportunities for labor-intensive sectors. Prominent industry leaders and business stakeholders in India have enthusiastically welcomed the FTA.
This will create a new innovation ecosystem and manufacturing capabilities in India, as New Zealand has some technologies which they'll be bringing to India. At the same time, we are also very sure that with this FTA, the bilateral trade and new business opportunities, new market opportunities will be there for our small businesses as well as for whole industry.
New Zealand is a very important player in the Indo-Pacific, especially for India. Both countries can work together and achieve very good results for the benefit of both countries.
As India's third FTA concluded in 2025, following pacts with the United Kingdom and Oman, this new generation partnership marks a pivotal stride towards building a globally competitive, inclusive and resilient economy, fully embodying the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Bureau Report, DD India.
The US Food and Drug Administration has approved Danish drug maker Novo Nordisk's weight loss pill. It gave the Danish drug maker a leg up in the race to market a potential oral medication for shedding pounds. The pill is 25 milligrams of semaglutide, the same active ingredient in Ozempic, which has become a popular weight loss drug for celebrities, despite it being prescribed primarily for adults with type 2 diabetes. And now some sporting action. First news from cricket. After cruising to a comprehensive win in the opener, India women will take to tighten their grip on the 5-match T20 series when they take on Sri Lanka in the second game in Visakhapatnam on Tuesday. With conditions set to remain similar before the series moves to Thiruvananthapuram, India will start as favourites again while Sri Lanka searches for consistency. And FIFA released its final men's world rankings of 2025 on December 23rd, setting the stage for next year's World Cup in North America. The poll confirmed Spain as the year-end #1 team ahead of defending champions Argentina and runners-up France. England and Brazil rounded out the top 5, while Portugal, the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany and Croatia completed the top 10 football teams of the world. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.
Open your mind to a whole new world. Explore mystic wonders of nature in the forests.
तो मुझे देख के आपको लग रहा है कि मुझे इजी वाला देना चाहिए.
Uncover secrets hidden deep inside the earth.
And I'd always heard of this ancient Shiv Mandir which is inside a cave.
Experience the rich cultural legacy.
मुझे बताइए इस डांस फॉर्म के बारे में, इस आर्ट फॉर्म के बारे में.
Experience the blend of vibrant warmth and stunning creations.
It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Jharkhand. Let it become a part of you. Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Namaskaram from Telangana, India's youngest state, a rising star.
గౌరమ్మ పత్రులు తెచ్చినాము గౌరమ్మ